Hello, everybody, man. It's Thursday, and if you've been paying attention and stuff, if you watch me for toys and all and action figures, or if I'm sharing stuff about comic books and stuff at all, you will know. And if you don't know yet, this is my second time doing this because Tuesday I uploaded the first video doing a shout out to Lockdown Productions and his granddaughter. Thank you again, Lockdown Productions. And he messaged me back today like it had been because I had forgot to even send him a link, so I don't even know at this moment if he's watched it yet. But at least I heard from him. And but the point being is, in that video towards the end, I state and share with everybody that is viewers how basically I want to dedicate Tuesdays and Thursdays as my main days. Like if I've got something in order that's toy related, comic book related, or something of that nature that I'm wanting to just talk about, that's when you would want that. I'm going to have a schedule going and building a catalog of videos around that schedule alone, like every Tuesday and Thursday, and maybe sometimes I miss one day or not. I got other things I got to do too, but fortunately I have a lot more time than some people, and so this is about me conditioning myself, getting a pattern down, getting a routine down. Not only like I have to get up and do certain things in my life every day, and and I got to get certain things in order, and then I also am enjoying doing the YouTube thing. So I'm learning that there's a pattern, a pace, and all of that. But that being said, we're going to talk about Forbidden Museum and Forbidden Museum 2. Forbidden Museum has been out for a while. It's a friend of mine, Craig E. Sawyer, created this story. He's a writer. He does a lot of different things, but he's a writer. He's put out. He's got some stories in what do they call them? Anthologies. Has I think a second novel coming out. He just told me the other day. But I will tell you that the only me sharing these with you about his comic books, I told him the other day, I can't wait to get my hands on some of the other stuff that he's written. One time he shared a little short story with me, and I don't think it was even had been in print, or it might have been a short story he was about to have printed in something. I don't know, but he shared it with me, and it was just awesome, and so I don't want to say anything about the details if it wasn't in print or somewhere yet, because But I think he'll remember what I'm talking about. But you have Craig E. Sawyer is the writer and the creator. He created this vision. You have Luke Archie as the pencilist and the inks. The artist, I guess. And James G. Brown are colors. Ed Dukeshire lettering. Tom Mandrake cover art. I was realizing earlier because I told Craig I was going to try to get. Well, I left a review on Forbidden Museum 2 on the site, the print on demand site that I got it from, the second issue. Finally got around to doing that, but then because I wrote a review of that, it gave me a little insight to how I'm going to approach this video. And then right before I sit down and doing this, and matter of fact, this is the third time. I hope this will be all, but a lot of times what I'm learning is that if I want to get it good, sometimes it might only take a few times, but depending on the more practice I do, the more I put into it, they will get better. With these type of videos, I'll probably need to write down some stuff in the coming time. In the future, the ones that I do next, it would help to have notes and stuff. But I have the comic in hand, and I can flip through it and show you a few things and share with you about what it's about. So you have, it's called Forbidden Museum, and the premise is you have dude looking for his great grandfather's old supposed this catacombs of like this museum that was hidden or something, and it's supposed to be a bunch of riches. Or he thinks this is what he thinks is going to be there. You know what I'm saying? It's kind of like what he's after is what he thinks his grandfather's stash that's worth all this money, and it's going to make him, this whatever. But you have I want to make sure. Oh yeah, the name of the main character is Henry Harker. But so his grandfather had built a place that where like because the opening opens up with them dealing his great grandfather and stuff for dealing with Dracula. So they have a place that they create that is for these creatures of the night, so to speak, the monsters and ghouls and things that some people know to be true, but the rest of the world might not. But like to keep the world safe, when you capture one or get like an artifact or something, you need a place to put it safely where it doesn't fall in the wrong hands or it is not unleashed upon mankind again. And that's where you're at. That's basically the kind of, I'm trying to give you the rundown without ruining anything. But you got werewolf, think of all your major type of iconic characters that you grew up with, or if you were into monster movies or the old, Frankenstein, Mummy, Werewolf, Black Lagoon, and you'll know why. Now, when it gets to the second issue, that right there is kind of his version of the creature from the Black Lagoon. But there's a card he had sent with the first issue. That's one, and there's the back of it. He had sent me another card. I'm kind of nervous. This is new to me. Not really, but I got a pen. I ain't even opened it up and used it. I'm gonna probably put that on a hat here next day or two. So you got the dude. They find the place, and he's got somebody with him and everything. And the guy's like really getting paid by somebody else to be with him to find this place because they're it's like kind of crazy or whatever. But you have basically a version of the Book of the Dead story in here where and you have your main character accidentally somehow say something in it or do like he opens it up and uses it or something happens and it lets you have the old curator of the Forbidden Museum. By the way, it's like 3 miles down below the London Museum or something. And you have the spirit of somebody before him that was over it appear and then pass on this like scarab type thing, like a Egyptian like bug, one of them bug things, or whatever I think it is. I might be wrong if it's not, but it's basically something that gets stuck to his chest, and you have him. About 6 months, like he wakes up 6 months later and everything, and I'm realizing I'm telling you a little too much, but he wakes up and realizes all this stuff, and then because he's given his bank account numbers of his great grandfather and all that, and so he goes and discovers he's pretty much got money to deal with stuff, and the beauty of this for me is that since I've been back into comics, is I don't really buy no single issue comics unless I'm like maybe somewhere and it's 50 cents a piece or something, and I'm just buying a once. You know what I mean? Like it's not like I'm trying to collect the whole series. Basically, I'm just buying like omnibuses or graphic novels, and these are usually things that have been out for a while that I can look for, I can read up, see some reviewings, people doing reviews and giving me a context to whether I want to spend money on it. But what I'm enjoying is actually just reading like the first issue of something, and it's just a regular simple back in the day, it's a comic book, and so you basically you end with him getting on a plane and heading somewhere, right? I know that might seem a little vague, but I don't want to go into too many details, but I want to share this story, and it's really cool. I think it's very creative. So you end up in where when I got Forbidden Museum 2 and opened it up, like I hadn't read the other one in since when I got it. So I remembered the premise, but like, man, I was just like right off the bat, 2 is like pretty much, it's number 2 is the Lost Temple of the Gill God, by the way. And let me get the name. Did he have a title here? I'm sorry. A New Curator is the name of the story for the first one. And so he's going based on something here like, I'll tell you what I like the most is when, I'm just going to tell you, if you remember your comic books having, like, this is an adult comic. When I was like collecting comics, yes, I was into superhero and all that stuff and everything else. But when I was like a teenager, the comics I really liked was the realistic comics. The ones that showed like, sex, graphic violence, all that kind of, like when you stayed up late on Friday and Saturday nights and watched HBO or Cinemax if you had cool parents and you watched anything you wanted, like all these cool horror movies and sci-fi, and they were all for adults, but it was like better than what you were given because of your age. But, it depends on your mind. What I'm saying is it throws me back to comics that just are how they're supposed to be, not worrying about, like, you got violence, you got good humor, you have a story that's weaving its way, and it was hard for me to think about how to do a review or anything after I finally I finally got issue 1 reread before I did a review and left a review for issue 2 and did this video, because it just wouldn't be right. And how can I, if I've not done a review on the first one, how could I couldn't do a review on the second one. So I'm doing both of them here. And it ain't a review, it's just an overview. Because I'll tell you, though, that like I told my buddy Craig Sawyer, who wrote these, and once again, you have Craig Sawyer, story, Luke Archie, pencils and inks, James C. Brown colors, Ed Dukeshire lettering. I just want to make sure, like, if there was any transition, or like if there was a different person, that I'm mentioning everybody included on each thing involved here. But so, basically he's going and looking for the Gill God. And so they have to go where the book's showing him, and he's got to get these guides, but he's got all this money. And let me just say, when I got issue 2 in hand, when I finally sat down and read it, it was from the first page. It's just like cool, man. Like, it's like, whoa. I'm not lying. I don't want to. Let me see if I can just give you a little. Here's just something to show you what you're looking at, type art wise and stuff. Just to get a visual, because this is a comic book. So he's looking for the Gill God on this mission there. And then you have something that had happened in the first issue where you have the main, you have Dracula involved in coming back, or someone trying to, they're trying to find the Book of the Dead, basically, because dude has it and they need it to do whatever. And I know that seems, I hope that this is worthy, Craig and your team, but I don't know. wish me luck. This will give me, because I've got two more issues. I've got 2 issues of a comic that Craig also has helped create or wrote the story for, and then it's collaborated with some guys. It's called Mars City Vice, and I have both issues of that. And so I had Forbidden Museum, the first issue of that, before I ever had. And Mars City Vice is a little older, but I'm going to do a video on those too. So this was practice. And I'll probably try to take the time on when I finally get around to these other 2 of his. I'll put a little more effort into it. But what I'm getting at is, if you're interested in a cool comic, man, I know that my Real Metal Eddie would definitely like these things. Real Metal Eddie, I know if you're into horror stuff, you like horror. I know it's gore horror, but you probably, you're into the old. I know you like just anything monster, horror, all that, gore, whatever it is, sci-fi. But so what I'll do is I'll see if I can. I'm gonna try to leave a link in the description of a site that you can go to and order 1 or 2. It's print on demand, and they're like, I think, $4.99 a piece. Doesn't cost a lot. I mean, you're just buying a single issue of a comic, and and he's told. I think issue 3 of Mars City is not far from. It's in some final ends or something. So that was cool, because I was asking, because since I hadn't even read. I didn't realize how long it had been since that had came out. And when it originally came out, it was I think only online. So, and I had checked out a few of the things then, but I couldn't remember everything. So, much love to my brother Craig Sawyer and his team there that helped him do this. And much love to everybody, But let's end it right there. What do y'all think? I think that'll be a good ending, and let's see. Thanks for being you, and until next time, Mr. Cloud says the eternal moment, over and out. Ditto.